71 and unstoppable. Oh, still on a mission from diagnosis to destiny. Let me tell you about what it means to live your legacy and not just leave it. Because today we're celebrating a beautiful woman who doesn't just talk about the change, she's walked it out in the face of pain, in the face of diagnosis, in the face of generational cycles that tried to take her out. But first, let me tell you how we met. I met this beautiful Carol Nevel-Fleming over 18 years ago. I had the honor of crossing the beautiful sands with the phenomenal Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a 60 by design, that 2007 line. And Carol Neville Fleming has been the example, the realest example of what support, service, and soror looks like. And besides each other, the highs, the lows. And today we rising together with random acts of kindness. And so thankful for her being able to say yes. As 71 years young, she was diagnosed pre-diabetic in 2008, but she said, no, not today. We're going to reverse that diagnosis, crush generational curses, and is now sitting strong with a healthy A1C of 5.9. So she has mindset and discipline. So in this three takeaways I want you to go with you is number one, health is not a birthright, not a burden. Like Carol's going to show us how you can rewrite your health legacy for generations to come. Number two, mindset over medication. Yes, the doctors are going to give you different medications, but Carol is going to show you how to have spiritual alignment. And number three, legacy, not being left behind, raising kids for over 45 years before retiring. Even at Jalen Rose Leadership Academy, my beautiful niece actually just started high school in Detroit, Michigan. Carol is the proof of service, sisterhood, and impact. It goes hand in hand. So this isn't just like a wellness call or just a regular conversation. She doesn't make excuses. She shows up when it's needed, and Carol can do anything at 71. So first, Carol, I want to say thank you for saying yes to the virtual random acts of kindness and getting that in motion and being one of the ones to raise your hand for real people, real stories, a real legacy leading up to September 6, 2025, proving that real kindness, connection, and storytelling can change the world. And we're going to be able to provide the link that more people can actually see this conversation if you can't catch it live. Because again, this impactful woman that I'm getting ready to bring on today, I am so excited for this conversation. I love my Carol. She's always been so supportive in any and everything I do. She just knows her flash. She's going to always come through with something. So let me get my Carol to the stage here. What up, though, Carol, man? What's
Hey, how
Fleming?
you
Ah,
doing?
yes, love. Good afternoon. How are you doing this amazing day?
I'm doing great. I'm
Oh
doing
my
great.
gosh. I truly want to say thank you to start out just for raising your hand and saying yes. You know I'm always doing something. You always said it. You know I'm always doing something. And
Well,
you just said yes to the text message of reaching out in regards to the random acts of kindness. I truly appreciate you seriously because it starts there. But catch me up. I know you're retired. I missed the shindig. Tell me everything that's going on with your world and kind of catch everybody up in regards to who this amazing woman is.
it's a lot.
I know, right?
I have a granddaughter that is 27,
Mhm.
and I understand that on the 12th of September, she will graduate from the police academy,
Okay.
which I didn't know she was doing. But
Uh-huh.
anyway,
How do you feel about that?
and then I have a granddaughter who will turn 17 on the 14th of September.
Look at my
She
little
was voted
Virgo
an
twin.
All-American in volleyball,
Nice.
and she has already been accepted to Penn State. And she's going to leave high school early so that she can join the team in January.
Oh, wow. What high
So
school is she
she'll,
leaving early, if I can ask?
because they want the freshmen that are coming in
Mhm.
to do conditioning with them in the winter.
Nice.
So when they hit the floor in August, they'll be ready.
Oh,
They
wow.
won't be coming in like June or July and trying to catch up with what's going on.
Oh, that's amazing, Sans. My
So
niece wants to play volleyball. That's amazing.
yeah, her graduation time is supposed to be June of 2026, but
Okay.
she's actually going to finish her credits and everything and leave in December so she can start at Penn State in January.
Oh, that is awesome. That is past awesome. Is that Marco's daughter?
That's Marco's daughter.
And I went to Renaissance with your daughter, Marco. Yes.
And
You know
since
that.
you mentioned her,
Uh-huh.
she has just become promoted to president of Fabric Care at Procter and Gamble.
Come on, Marco. That's that Renaissance, we talk about it. That's that Steam Phoenix love. Congratulations.
Oh
That is
yeah, so there's a
amazing.
lot going on.
Yes, there is.
It's been an amazing year and journey.
And you see how I asked about you and you talked about everybody else? You always did that. Like that is something I don't know if it's a Delta thing or you do that a lot. And so what is going on with you, my just retiring from Jalen Rose Leadership Academy, is that correct?
No,
45 years
actually,
of
I
service?
retired before COVID when I moved to Switzerland.
Okay, okay. Oh, Jesus. Now where do we start here? I don't know if we need to go to
Now, in 2019, Marco had to do an overseas assignment, and I said I wanted to go. Didn't know that the pandemic was going to hit,
Mm,
and I'd be stuck over there trying to get back here for 18 months.
mm.
But that was exciting to be somewhere where you don't have any responsibility.
What
You
was that
just have
like though? What was I just I had an interview with Alex English and he told me that Geneva, Switzerland was one of the most beautiful and romantic places to visit.
I
So
don't know
what was
about
it like?
romance, but it is beautiful.
Okay, okay.
Um, we were very blessed because we
Mhm.
had a townhouse right on Lake Geneva.
Okay. Ooh.
So when I opened my blinds in the morning, I saw the sunrise over Lake Geneva.
Oh, Jesus. I remember you sending those pictures. I will never forget that. Oh, it was so beautiful.
And then even though there are Maseratis and BMWs and Bentleys going down the street, people
Uh-huh.
usually walk everywhere.
Hmm.
So you're walking places and you're catching the bus and the train
Mhm.
and you're buying your groceries. And, now you can go in stores now and they'll say, we're charging 50 cents for a bag.
Mhm.
Well, over there was €1 for a bag usually.
Oh,
And so
wow.
you always
Mhm.
took your bags with you no matter where you went. So I had my backpack and I'd go grocery shopping when I wanted to. And
Mhm.
then when we did the big grocery shopping, Marco's husband and I would go to the grocery store and we'd buy
Okay.
stuff. But during the pandemic, when they said shut it down, they
Mhm.
truly meant shut it down. So
Okay.
the only thing that was open was grocery stores. Most of the grocery stores sell things other than just groceries, but
Mhm.
they had caution tape over those things, so you couldn't get them.
Oh,
They were
wow.
not essential items. Even though you're in the same building, you can't pick up a pair of mittens
Right.
because that's not an essential item. You should have had that before the pandemic started.
Oh, wow. So what was
So,
that like living in another country? Forget the pandemic. I mean, you're in a whole nother country, not with your
right.
comfort levels or what have you. How did you actually look? We're going in a whole different tangent. How did you how did you deal with that, Stance? Like, how did you get through that, just mindset wise? That's huge.
The biggest thing was just watching the craziness over here.
Okay.
And it
Catch.
wasn't on you'd have to catch glimpse of it on the news.
Mm-hmm.
And you see people were calling me and saying, well, I went to Home Depot today. And I said, what's essential at Home Depot?
Right. Right.
Didn't you have all that before before the pandemic?
Uh-huh.
And I was told in France you could go outside and walk, but if you were going outside and walk, you had to have a dog with you. So if you
Hmm.
didn't have a dog, they would actually give you a ticket
Oh, wow.
because you were out and you shouldn't have been out.
So how was that being inside? Now I want to say stuck inside because you had the grandbabies, you had your children there.
Right.
So
We
you
had 6 people, so we didn't have a chance to get lonesome.
right, right.
Our townhouse was four stories with a elevator.
Well, I think you were okay. I think you was living in the palace, my son. So
And the kids were only out of school for about a month.
okay, okay. So they do
Um,
things virtually, or did they do?
they did virtual for a month and then they started going back to school. They opened up real soon. They had
Mm,
to wear masks, but they
okay.
opened up real soon. It wasn't a whole thing of them being out for 3 months or whatever else. They were only out of school for a month.
So that sounds different than it was in the States. So it wasn't even, they only had a month off. They just had a little summer vacation. We were dealing with the overhaul of life,
We're
and you
still
all just,
dealing with the overhaul of the
oh,
pandemic. They still
right.
haven't come back.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
gosh.
that was interesting in the fact of how they handled it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even the virtual work was checked online. So you
Oh
got
wow.
your feedback on what was going on.
So it didn't feel like you all skipped a beat, is what it sounds like to
They
me.
didn't skip a beat.
Ah, well, that must be nice.
They said close down the stores and they meant close down the stores. So the
Right,
only thing that was
right.
open was grocery stores.
So let's talk about how you fought through your diabetes and just taking you back to that story. Like, what was the journey that was like? And you told the doctors, no, we're not doing that. I know you probably
Well,
told them
you
that
have
too.
to understand my history.
Okay,
My
tell me
father
that.
died of complications of diabetes at the age of 63.
Okay.
And I'm sure if he had a chance, he wouldn't have spent the last 6 years of his life on dialysis.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I remember when he first started his diabetes journey, and he
Mm-hmm.
started with the pills. But my
Okay.
father was a foodie, a real
Mm-hmm.
foodie, and he worked midnights.
Okay.
So when he first had his diabetes, my mother and I and he went on
Mm-hmm.
Weight Watchers.
Okay.
We bought a Jean Air stove in, oh, when I was 12. So we're talking about 1966, 67.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Nobody even had Jean Air stoves back then.
Right.
But we
Right.
had a Jean Air stove so he could grill his steaks in the house.
Mm.
And my mother had stopped frying. She made the best fried chicken. I don't know of anybody that made the chicken, but she
Uh-huh.
stopped frying foods. And he was losing weight.
Mm.
Then all of a sudden, because he worked midnights, we decided to clean his car out one day.
Uh-huh.
And we found everything behind the seats and in the seats. Green's barbecue, Coney Island's from National, because he worked midnights at the post office. So we're
Uh-huh.
talking about everything being in his car.
Mm.
So while we were sacrificing
Uh-huh.
and not having fried foods and this and that and the other, he was still having everything he wanted to have.
So your dad was hiding in the car.
That was the cost of his diabetes.
Okay.
So he also, I should say this too, his two first cousins who were
Mhm.
similar in age to him, one of them had a kidney transplant, one of the first ones I'd ever heard of. I was maybe 16 when he had his kidney transplant.
Mhm.
And the other one died of complications of diabetes. So
Mm.
they just kept doing what they were doing. So
Right.
my question was, they say you can manage it with food and exercise,
Mhm.
but it's not just food and exercise, it's the kind of food you're going to eat. And
Right.
that's what we don't understand.
Right.
I just talked to a lady because I walk at Palmer Park on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Mhm.
And she was telling me that her husband was diagnosed with diabetes. And she said, I told him to stop eating that watermelon
Mhm. Really? I'm listening. Right
because
now.
he just
Wait.
eats watermelon. I said, well, the watermelon ain't bad if he eating the whole watermelon. If he eating the watermelon, the milling of the watermelon, not just the watermelon juice. She said, yeah, but that's too much sugar.
Huh.
I said, okay, I'm gonna be quiet. I said, but you should look at the fact of the fat that he's eating, not the sugar that he's eating, because
Right.
we call it sugar diabetes, but that's a misnomer.
Mm.
It's not caused by the sugar you eat, it's
Okay.
about the amount of fat in your body.
Huh.
And so if you're eating fatty things,
Okay.
if you're eating cakes and pies that have milk and eggs and sugar and cream in them,
Right.
then yeah, then you're talking about that. But it's not just the sugar. You could have a sugarless pie and still have diabetes.
So, in other words, you're saying sharing that the myth of, because you know how like my grandmother used to say, you got sugar.
Hmm.
So diabetes being tied to that, it's not just the sugar, it's actually tied to the
The
fats
amount
and
of fat
things.
in your body.
Wow, that's that. See, come on, I love these conversations. Then,
So during the pandemic, I learned that because I'd also become part of a group called Black Women's Health Imperative out of
okay,
Atlanta, Georgia.
uh-huh,
And I was actually going to they had seminars when I was here
okay,
called Change Your Life, Change Your Lifestyle, Change Your Life.
okay,
And so Callie Bradford, who's also a soror,
mhm,
I was in one of her seminars and she called me when I was over in Switzerland and she said, do you want to do a presentation with me?
mhm,
And I said, sure,
right,
to talk about the journey from diabetes to health, because it is a
okay,
journey. You had to learn some things.
mhm,
I was also very fortunate, and I do thank the pandemic for what it did, because it did do some things for us.
okay,
Um, there was also a lady on Facebook, Deborah Mosevian, I think, and she sent me an email. I don't know where she got my name from, but she sent me an email saying, do you want to end your diabetes?
Mhm.
And of course, I said, yeah. Well, what she did was she did 30 interviews with 30 people who had 30 different ways of making themselves healthy.
Huh.
And that's when I ran into a lady named Lisa Smith. Lisa, no, I can't think of Lisa's name. Anyway, she runs the Black Health Academy.
Okay.
And I listened to her talk about sugar as being addictive, as being as bad as crack cocaine, because we get
Mm.
addicted to it
Mhm.
and we
Mhm.
can't turn it loose because it's a it's an okay substance. Why wouldn't you want to have sugar?
Right.
And so she explained all of that to me. We went through the 30 different people and I took notes on all of them. And I was all of them I heard the same thing. You have to begin to look at what you're eating every day.
So you keep saying, okay, so like for example, the watermelons and the pineapples. So even though we're looking at the amount of fat in our body, so does that make a impact? Like should we cut those type of fruits that have a lot of sugar out of our diet?
If that's all you're eating, yeah. But you've got to increase the fiber in your diet.
Hmm.
And fiber comes from strawberries, blueberries.
Okay.
Um, you want the purest elements you can get.
Okay. Mhm.
And my whole thing was to give up the meat because we start our meals most of the time thinking about what kind of meat we're going to have.
Yes.
And then we think about the vegetables that'll be on around it.
Right.
Why can't we start with the vegetables we're going to have and think about whether we need any meat around it?
Okay. So
Because
let's
there's
go
so
with
many
that. So like
things. Yeah.
what would be an ideal sense for like an ideal meal that you would actually incorporate, just not the meat, because that's great. That's crazy because Unika's on a health journey as well. And cutting out meat was one of the things that she started with, like in regards to like limiting but just talked about watermelon and pineapples with sugar. And that's why you bring that up. That's why I even had to
Oh,
ask
I
you
like
again.
them, and I
Right,
don't have
right.
a problem with them. You have to look at yourself because everybody digests and metabolizes food differently. I have a girlfriend who can eat a whole pineapple,
Uh-huh.
and her blood sugar will not raise 1 ounce. If I eat a whole pineapple, my blood sugar is going to spike a little bit.
I
So
get
you
it.
have to really gear it towards what you learn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I like the things that are coming out to tell you what food is doing to your body. Like the people we see, which I don't like to see it, but they have little discs on their arms where they
Yes.
can rub their phone on and see. That'll give you an idea of what your body likes, what your body can deal with, and what it can't deal with.
Hmm. Great information. We have Pardo here. Say, hey, Sands. It's telling us great information. So thank you so
Hey,
much for
back,
the
how you
support.
doing?
Love our beautiful Pardo, my love. So let's talk about a little bit, Sands, in regards to like your journey and just being in education. And yes, you of course just a walking pre-diabetic, just a blessing. But in regards to the struggles and pains that you had to go through to get there, talk a little bit about how you even started in education and even got to the Delta position as well. Like just kind of walk me through your journey of before this beautiful 71 we have now standing in front of us, or,
My parents
virtually.
told me, and I remember telling them that I liked school. I loved school when I was a
Mhm,
kid.
mhm,
But I didn't like the fact that kids weren't listening to the teacher.
mm,
That drove me crazy. So I had told my parents at a very early age I was going to teach kids that needed me, and those were kids with disabilities.
mm,
And I
okay,
had a girlfriend who had a brother who had Down syndrome. And I
mhm,
used to talk to Daryl all the time. We would play and kid and everything. So I said, okay, well, that's where I'm going to go. So
mhm,
when I went to Michigan State, I majored in special ed.
okay, mhm,
Came out of Michigan State, and I would say in 3 years, at
okay,
the age of 20,
uh-huh,
and decided to go to Pontiac
okay,
because I had student taught in Detroit at Campbell Elementary School, which I think is closed now,
mhm,
and the other one that used to be across from Tiger Stadium. Those were the two poorest elementary schools in the city. We were
mm,
placed in a program through Michigan State where they sent us there for 6 months with the poorest kids in the city. They figured if they train us that way, we'll learn something.
huh.
Well, what I learned was not to come to Detroit because of the fact
I learned not to come to Detroit. What up, though?
because, and I'm a Detroiter.
Yes,
All of my
yes,
schools are from Detroit,
right.
but I told them when we started school at 8:30, we brushed teeth, we combed hair.
Mm,
Um, then we did some lessons. Then you had lunch. You got to brush teeth again, and then they got to go out and play. And they're
right.
leaving out the door at 3:30 with me.
Mm.
So I said, well, when are they supposed to really learn anything?
Where is that part?
Yeah, that wasn't part of the situation. So
Right.
I went to Pontiac, where I'd also student taught at, because they had prepared us to do, if we were in early school, we
Mhm.
came to work at 8 o'clock, and the kids came at 8:15, and they stayed to 2:30 or 3 o'clock. And then we had to stay to 4 o'clock. We had a whole hour we had to stay there to prep for our next day.
Mhm.
And if you were a late school, you came to school at 9 o'clock, and don't want that. Came to school at 9 o'clock. The teachers got there at 8 o'clock, so they had from 8 to 9 to prep every day.
Mhm.
So I figured anyone who didn't really want me to take my work home with me
Uh-huh.
was on my side,
Right,
because
right,
I
right.
know teachers take work home with them. And I
Yes.
wasn't saying I didn't want to take work home, but I don't want to take all my work home every day.
Right, right.
So I stayed in Pontiac. And when they finally gave me an assignment to teach, they put me at Pontiac Northern High School.
Okay. Mhm.
I was 20, remember?
Right. Right.
The kids there were between 15 and 18.
Right. You're talking to your friends, your
I
peers,
was
right.
having a ball.
Right. Right.
So I said, this really isn't a job.
Uh-huh.
So let me go somewhere where I can really work, because this
Right.
isn't a job.
Uh-huh.
So I left there after 3 years, and I went to work for the state of Michigan
Okay.
at Plymouth Center for Human Development,
Mhm.
which had 750 developmentally disabled adults and children.
Okay.
And they were the toughest that Michigan had to offer,
Uh,
because their parents had given them up because of doctors saying, your child will never learn, your child is not going to progress. So why don't you put them in a center where they can receive proper care?
mm.
And
Mhm.
at that point in time, when I went to Plymouth, we were under court ordered mandate because some of the residents had been abused.
Oh, wow.
So we had a lot of money coming in, and we were doing a lot of things with individuals, but the main thing was to place them into the community.
Okay.
So I
Mhm.
said, okay, fine, I can do this.
Right.
Well, I did it for 17 years. And that was 24-hour responsibility, 7 days a week as a program director.
Wow.
So there were no cell phones. So we were pagers, and we had to call in. And my kids were going through school. And I said, this is really rough,
Right.
because you never get a chance to sign off.
Mm.
So I decided to go back and get my master's and go back to teaching, because at that point in time, you knew that when the doors of the school closed, the only person that could call you was the fire department.
Okay.
Nobody could get hit with the brush.
Yes.
Nobody could be found underneath a bed. Nobody could run away, because they're supposed to be gone when you leave the school.
Right.
So then I went back and taught for 17 more years. And then I said, okay, it's time to retire.
Right.
But I wasn't done,
I okay.
because I knew that charter schools did not understand special education.
Mm.
And even though it sounds nice that we're going to mix everybody together, it
Mhm.
doesn't always work that way. Some
Right.
kids need some special attention, and you need somewhere for them to go. So you can give them that attention and then put them back in the mainstream.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I went to Jalen Rose, and I was there for, I think, 8 years,
Okay.
until
Amazing.
until I decided to move to Switzerland.
Until Switzerland came into play. And that makes sense though, because I mean, but like I said, Caitlin started at Jalen Rose this past week, and I saw Jalen Rose, and I also recall the pictures from Switzerland. So if I had to, weigh we love our children, we loved our education, but Switzerland with 4 stories and the the pictures you showed, and like Pardo said, she's pretty sure Campbell is closed. So but no, so we can understand that living was your challenge. But one thing that stood out, like even when you were just talking in your story, you decided to leave Pontiac Northern because you felt like you weren't working yet. You felt,
No,
and then you literally talk about a challenge, and that's something that I've always loved about you in regards to just tackling challenges. How did you juggle being a teacher and being a mother and and even before being a teacher, right? You had a 24-hour call with being a parent, as well as having your job for 17 years. How did you juggle your mindset? Because again, we have keep God first, of course, but how did how did you do it? What's the secret?
It
And then we're
takes a
not even
village.
talking about the health part.
It
We didn't
takes
even
a
get there.
village. It
It takes a
takes a
village.
village.
Yes.
And
Mm,
it still takes a village because now, even though I said I'm retired, I have
yes.
a job from 5:30 to 8 o'clock every morning.
Hmm.
My great grandson comes over at 5:30, and I take him to his babysitter between
Uh-huh.
7:30 and 8.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm getting up at 5:30 in the morning to greet him.
Right. Get it ready for the day.
Right. So
Right.
I had Aunt Corrine, I had Miss Kay,
Uh-huh.
I had my mother for a while, but you have to. I had the neighbors across the street. I remember talking about that.
Uh-huh.
The young lady across the street, she would, when I worked for the state and I had to be to work at 6:30 in the morning, she would come over to my house at 6 o'clock and sit with my kids until it was time for the bus to come get them or the car to come get them, because we arranged carpools all the time.
Mm.
And we
Mm.
had a we had a really good 2 years at one point in time, probably three, where we had someone picking up our kids from school, and it was five of them. It wasn't just my kids. It was um, Terry Henderson's kids. It was um, Ron Banks, the dramatics. His daughter was in the what was in the pool too, and we
Uh-huh.
would go. They would go bowling on Mondays, ballet or gymnastics on Tuesdays, somewhere else on Wednesday, somewhere else on Thursday, and somewhere else on Friday. So we just needed someone to pick them up from school and take them to the place that they had to go to
Mm. And
until
you had
somebody get off work who can bring
right.
them home.
Right. And had a like a rotational schedule. So how
Mhm.
important was organization and time management just in the journey of life, in addition to everything that you dealt with? How important and impactful was that?
Oh, very, very,
Right.
very. You
Mhm.
have to, because at one point in time I was on afternoons. So that's when Miss K came involved. I'd pick her up at noon every day, take her to my house, and then the kids would get dropped off after school, and then she'd cook them dinner,
Mhm.
um, try to assist them with their homework, and then put them to bed. So when I got home at 11 o'clock, they were asleep. I would run her home, and then I'd come back and start my day all over the next day again.
Goodness gracious. Now, are you taking a break in retirement at least besides 5:30 to 8? We got the great grandbaby. We can't do anything about that. But what do you do for self-care now and to make sure that you don't have those same health challenges, that you have your mindset, you're still living? What are some things that you do to encourage this healthy living for Carol?
Okay, so we have LA Fitness.
Okay, there it is.
I have cardio kickboxing in the morning at 8:30 on Mondays.
Let's go.
You have Zumba on Tuesdays at 9:45.
Uh-huh.
You have body and abs at 8:30 on Wednesday and Thursday. And Friday, I don't do anything.
I love it.
But then I also have this thing that I've been trying to get all my friends to do
Mhm.
called reflexology.
Okay.
There are three women in Royal Oak
Mhm.
who do foot massages. And the foot is the key to every nerve and muscle in your body.
Yes.
So you book your appointment, you go in there, you take your shoes off, soak your feet for a little while, and then they literally just massage your feet for 45 minutes.
Ooh. Now, since I've been talking about a birthday for literally, I might have to get that contact information. So where are they located in because I wanted to support a black-owned place for a massage type thing. So what you said,
It's
where are
called
they?
Royal Reflexology.
Uh-huh.
It's on 11 Mile. I think it's 1200 11 Mile in Royal Oak.
Huh.
And they're three sisters,
Okay.
all with the name of Apollonia, Angel, and Andrea.
Okay.
But I think there's seven sisters in all, and all of their names are A's too.
Okay.
But
Real
yeah,
low
I've been going to
reflexology.
them for a little bit over 2 years now. And we book appointments every 2 weeks. And
Uh-huh.
that's my time for me. Now, in between that, I'm going to walk. Yeah, that's me and that's us in the chair. Yep. Um,
So this is you in the chair right here?
no, I'm saying that's how we sit in the chair and our feet are
Okay.
wrapped and all that kind of good stuff.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but I do walk. We walk at Pembroke Park on Mondays and Wednesdays. There's a group that walks from 6 to 7. We have one more month to
Huh.
do this.
Okay.
I walk at UAD in the mornings when I don't have my great grandson. So as soon as September 12th comes, I'm hoping I can go back to UAD walking in the morning. And I hope to do 4 miles there and then come on home and then go to LA Fitness.
Okay. Okay.
And I just try not to do the other therapy, which is shopping therapy.
We had Nicole on, and she said they're the bomb.com. What up, though, sis? So I'm gonna actually check them out in regards to just for because like I said, I want to support a black owned institution, and so Pardo said something. I'm not going to share that place with people. And Coley Cole says, my mom and I go to reflexology with the same sisters every 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, see how small the world is? Adrienne Mays is going to be there too. I'm going to check it out. So thank you but that's how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to support each other in our journeys, in our different crafts and things like that. So what would you say to someone though in regards to your story and sharing your story and being authentic, how important that is to help someone along the way?
Always seek knowledge. Things are changing every day. The
Yes.
things I was told in 2019 about my diet and fitness, they change. You can increase, you can improve.
Hmm.
You also need to know where your food is coming from
Right.
because we often don't know where it's coming from. We talk about ultra processed foods, and
Yes.
people often say, well, you're vegan. I says, no, I'm not vegan because
Hmm.
I don't do the Beyond Meat. I don't do the Impossible Burgers because that's ultra processed too.
Huh.
They're putting things in there that I don't know what they're putting in there.
So what can you walk me through like a sample menu? I know this is off the top of your head and it doesn't have to be anything formal, but what is like a sample menu look like a breakfast, lunch and dinner in now? And
Okay,
that's
my breakfast, if I have breakfast,
mhm.
because as Nicole knows, we used to go to grind time and he was on this intermittent fasting. So we
Uh-huh.
really didn't eat until 10:30 every day.
Huh.
So in our minds, we have this thing about breakfast and breakfast should be these foods.
Okay.
But if I'm gonna have breakfast, it's probably gonna be oatmeal.
Okay.
And I put a banana in my oatmeal. I put blueberries in my oatmeal, and that increases the fiber for the oatmeal.
Huh.
Also, a
Okay.
lot of ginger because it makes it taste better. Because I don't
Okay.
use any sugar or milk in it. I'm not that kind of person.
What about cinnamon? Do you do cinnamon in your oatmeal?
I do like cinnamon, but it turns things brown. And
Uh, just that visual just kind of throws you. I got you. Don't
so, if
worry.
I have a taste for cinnamon, I will do a cinnamon. But then I also like the cinnamon sticks
Okay.
because you
Okay.
can just
Hmm.
let them get in the water and boil, and they don't dissolve the same way that regular cinnamon does.
Okay. Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah,
So for breakfast we have oatmeal, banana, blueberries, and ginger. Okay.
you can have
Perfect.
raisin bread.
Okay. Hmm.
You can have jam
Okay.
that is real fruit, not the
Hmm.
play fruit, but real fruit. Um, you want to have things that honey, and I know that's not part of being vegan, but I'm whole food plant based. I'm not vegan.
Okay.
But some good honey will turn your world around
Okay.
because you can
Okay.
put it on some raisin toast and really
Hmm.
feel like you. And then any of your fruits,
Okay.
watermelon, peaches, pineapple, as long as they're fresh or if they're frozen.
Okay.
You don't want the canned ones because they've been through a machine in a factory, and I don't know who's
Hmm.
working in the factory.
They're right. They're right.
And the
Okay.
frozen may not be that much better, but I figure if they freeze them, they're doing less to them and then putting them in a can and all that kind of stuff.
Then okay. Got you. Okay.
Lunch
Hmm.
easily be a salad,
Okay.
and we put a lot of stuff on salads.
Yes.
My friends know I'm crazy about mushrooms. They
Oh,
don't like
me too.
mushrooms, but I'm crazy about mushrooms. So we were just down at Eastern Market earlier this afternoon,
Hmm.
and the man he had some lion's mane. And I can also say if you ever get a chance to watch Netflix or Hulu, one or the other has fantastic fungi on it, and you learn all about mushrooms and their benefits.
Okay.
And
Okay.
lion's mane is always good for your brain.
Hmm.
So mushrooms can add a whole lot to your salad. Don't forget to put your green peas on it. I used to think green peas weren't really a good vegetable, but
Okay.
there's a lot of protein, there's a lot of vitamins in green peas. We
And green
always talk
peas,
about,
really?
yeah.
Huh. Okay.
People
Hmm.
talk about green beans and greens, but
Okay.
green peas are up there too.
Wow.
And
Okay.
don't forget your asparagus. You can throw some asparagus in a salad. I like pickled asparagus. So if I can get it in a jar pickled, that's even better because then it
Okay.
has a kind of twang to it.
Mhm.
But watch your dressings.
Okay.
My son makes a dressing, a lemon poppy seed dressing. A lady at the gym makes another dressing that's really, really good. You just want to remember that any oil you put in a dressing is going to
Mhm.
be 100 calories per tablespoon and 9 grams of fat.
Huh.
So
Okay.
can you afford that or not?
Right. Right.
Dinner's going to be the same, although I do play around. And
Okay.
down at the Eastern Market had a sandwich fair today
Mhm.
where they
Oh,
were
okay.
featuring all these restaurants that have different sandwiches.
Mhm.
Well, one of my favorites, What's the Deal, was down there.
Okay.
That's the person that takes a dill pickle,
Mhm.
cuts it in half, carves out, and uses that as the bread for your sandwich.
Okay.
But the lady makes a truly great, she marinates jackfruit and
Mhm.
she makes you think you're eating from a king because the jackfruit is so spicy and it adds a lot of things. But jackfruit will mimic meat in its texture. So
Okay.
you might think you're like mushrooms, you may think you're getting some real meat.
Uh-huh. That's
But
interesting.
because I've been eating meat for what, 60 years. You just can't
Okay.
turn it off like that. Not
Right.
not the idea of it.
And so what did you say the substitution is called? What is it called?
Jackfruit,
Jackfruit. Okay.
yes.
And then
If
Cody
you
Cole
look
says
at
she
it,
needs some more of your son's dressing. See?
Western Market has jackfruit, and
Huh.
it looks like between a squash. It's about the size of a watermelon, but it
Okay.
looks inside looks like a
Hmm.
squash. It has these big holes for seeds in it. And I know, yeah, that's the way it looks.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
I actually noticed it when I was in Switzerland
Okay.
because
Uh-huh.
in the fruit markets they would have jackfruit, and I had never heard of jackfruit.
Mhm.
But
And
yeah,
so you put this in substitute of meat, like you'll eat
yes,
jackfruit. Oh,
you can shred it up, and you know how we used to have sloppy
huh.
joes or pulled pork.
Right.
If you shred it up, it'll give you the texture of meat.
Okay.
Now, the
Now,
lady at What's the Deal, she marinates hers like no one else I know. So I love her marinated jackfruit.
and tell me too, Sans, what do you do for what's the deal? I've definitely I've had her before too. She is amazing. Like the variety of things that she does. I wanted to kind of show her thing real quick. But in regards to protein, what do you do with your, like you said, you're not vegan, but what do you do for protein in your diet?
That jackfruit has a lot of protein in it.
Okay.
All of your green vegetables have protein in them. Your
Okay.
kale, your spinach, your collard greens.
Uh-huh.
That's why you can't. And cucumbers and celery are excellent sources of protein.
Huh.
I did do a podcast once on where's the beef
Okay.
because everyone always asks what's the deal on the protein.
Right.
But you can get protein from almost a lot of vegetables,
Okay.
and you can get enough to make it so you're not depleted in any of those things.
So you can do without chicken, you can do without shrimp, you can just do without all of those meats and jackfruit and like a green leafy vegetable and
And some
substitute with
mushrooms and all of that stuff. Yep.
interesting. That is so amazing. Okay, let's see. Thank you. Because I mean, I'm trying to find different like I said, Enika's on this health journey and trying to find different things to be able to substitute because you still have to have that balance of protein and things like that. And what I can't tell people of me in health because people always get angry when I say anything about it. So I can leverage my business partner, best friend Enika doing it.
Could it be way you look, they're getting jealous of?
Right? That's why I have to always bring up Enika's name because if I talk about health, people look at me like, "Why are you talking?" So, but I'm healthy too, right? It's important to have a healthy lifestyle. Like seriously, Shakeology is one of the things that has saved my life. Like mixing the Shakeology with spinach or what have you, so I
Mhm,
can have
mhm.
a balanced meal. But talk about a little bit for me, like in regards to somebody that's trying to go through like how was that weight loss that you went through? How did that impact your diabetes? Like keeping a good healthy weight and working out and things
That
like
takes
that.
it down. Anyone that's been diabetic will tell you when they lose the weight, their lab values go up.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
But I didn't even know it because since we were walking in Switzerland, I walked an average of 3.5, 4 miles a day,
Okay. Okay.
every day.
Okay. Wow.
Um, it wasn't a whole lot to do. So I won't say it wasn't a whole lot to do, but when the kids went to school, there was really nothing to do around the house. Because we had a housekeeper and
Mhm.
we had a braider, somebody come in to do the kids' hair every 2 weeks for braiding. We
Okay.
had a
Okay.
housekeeper. Yeah, that was yeah, yeah.
That's
She
that's
came in
called
and
living,
she
Sanders. Don't act like
cleaned.
you weren't living out there. You was living, baby. We talking about you said we just can walk and enjoy the sun because we had the housekeeper come. And then you have a chef as well, Sands.
And no, well, that was my son-in-law. He loves to cook.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Look,
he loves to cook.
don't say it like it's a bad thing. I want all
Oh
of these
no,
things.
I
Say
ain't mad
yes.
at him.
Okay.
But no,
Right.
we had those, how should I say, privileges of life.
Amenities.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Right.
But when you're not bogged down with that, then you can just go for a walk. And
Literally.
so I would walk over to the next town, which is 5 miles away. And then if I was tired, I take the train back. If not, you walk back.
Right. See? And
And
then it frees your mind up too. It's so funny. I remember when like you know how the people look like a Oprah Winfrey when she was on Weight Watchers or Jennifer Hudson, they lose all the Beyonce, they lose all this weight. But they have personal trainers. They don't put that part up. They have time is when you find something that you love and you can actually buy your time back and you're not working this 9 to 5 and grinding and you can get a housekeeper to clean up and you can actually have somebody prepare your meals. Seriously, it frees you up to do things that you love. And
mhm.
so I found that's a blessing to be able to walk 3.5 to 4 miles a day. Now, did you do like a fast paced walk seriously, or were you really able to kind of take things in
I was just,
strolling?
you find different things to do. I go maybe this way one day and this way the next day. And then
Uh-huh.
some days I go downtown because I want to buy cards or postcards to send them people back here. So, but that's expensive because the stamp is $1.10 over there. So,
Jesus Christ. I I remember when stamps were a quarter,
well,
maybe
that's
less than
true, but probably
seriously.
never over there. But you have to remember, I was over in Switzerland. Everybody thought it was cold.
Mm,
The coldest it gets in the city, we were in Cope, which is a small town outside of Geneva. The
okay.
coldest it gets is maybe 35 degrees.
Coming from Detroit, where it goes -10. Like, really?
We didn't
That's
even have to scrape off the windows of the car
oh
because they
wow.
didn't get frosted. Now,
Right.
if you go up in the mountains, then
Uh-huh.
you're going to be at -6 and that kind of stuff. But that's when you're going to dress for that and you're going to be skiing and doing other things that you would do in the mountains.
Did you
But
ever do that? Did you ever
yeah,
go
I went skiing. I told them that it was not for me.
Say it one and done? I haven't done that one yet.
No, I
Have
actually did. I actually did 4 times.
okay, okay, okay,
Um, the guy wanted me to learn how to fall forward
okay, okay.
as opposed to falling backwards.
Mm,
And I told him no, I was not going to be falling on my face. But the girls did real good.
okay.
The youngest one really learned how to ski well, and they still go skiing, even though they're back here. They still go skiing.
That's something
They
that is
enjoy
on
it.
my to-do list is skiing. So, but one thing that's so funny that you said you're not going to fall forward. I know how to fall back because I'm not in your journey, Sands. You did not fall forward. You pushed through seriously through it all. It's so funny how I can segue into things because I don't care if I'm on the slopes or anything. I don't do that in this life. I'm not falling forward. I am I am moving forward, and you have grasped life by and made sure that you just kept moving every single moment. I love that about you, seriously. So
But I
if
think PJ wanted us to go cross country skiing, and
huh.
I would do that. I would do that. I'm not going to do downhill skiing for anybody. I don't care no more.
Imma try it one time at least. I can't say because I haven't tried it yet, but I'll
But I
try
mean,
it.
it is fun. And I saw it, and we went to oh gosh, we went to Zermatt skiing, and we didn't ski when we were there, but we did look at them, go up to the mountain and that kind of stuff. We went
Okay.
to a lot of places when we were there because Geneva sits in the middle of everything.
Okay, okay.
So crazy me, I didn't know that the Montreux Jazz Festival, when we used to have it in Detroit, was
Mhm.
named after Montreux, Switzerland.
Oh, wow, okay. Because we're French,
I
Detroit.
didn't know we had them. I didn't know that's where it came from. And
Yes.
then when you arrive at the airport in Geneva, they have a Tina Turner lounge.
Huh.
because they loved her.
Right. Right.
So I'm just saying that some things you just didn't know came from there that you didn't get a chance to see. Now, would I go on in the Louboutin store here? Probably
Mhm.
not.
Right. Right.
But in Geneva, I didn't mind going. I wasn't buying anything, but I did get a chance to go into the Chanel store. I did get a chance to look around, and they're pretty tight on security, so they watching you, and
Oh,
you
they
know you
watching you.
being watched. But it's
Yes.
okay.
Right. I just remember when we went to Italy and the Louis Vuitton store was like a whole mall. It was crazy. And like, but like you said, security, you turn around, oh, hello. They're right. Would you like to see this with you? They're right there. If you think it's bad here in Michigan, like, or if you're traveling in California, no, they are over on your shoulder in military. But you did, so it's so funny, Sans, you went through the education, you went through the jobs. How did you God tap you on the shoulder for us to be connected for a lifetime commitment with Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated? How did that come about 18 years ago for you to be on 60 by design?
Well, actually, it started longer than that. It started in 1972
Okay,
when
okay.
I got to Michigan State.
Mhm.
I didn't know anything about pledging.
Okay.
I just knew I wanted to be a Delta because the colors were crimson and cream, you know?
Come on.
But their first line my freshman year, and I didn't know I wasn't even eligible to pledge at that point in time, was 29 girls.
Uh-huh.
And I said, wow, that's really something, 29 girls. And we see them go through the hallways with their clothes on and everything. And said, okay, fine. Sophomore year came around and there wasn't a line.
Hmm.
Junior year came around, like I said, I was out at 20. So junior year came out and I was down here student teaching.
Right.
And they said, no go for you
Oh, wow.
because you won't be on campus enough for us to harass
Give
you.
you the
So,
love.
yes. So I just let the dream go. I really
Oh,
did.
uh-huh. And that was
And
in
then,
1972, you said?
and then
Mhm. Mhm.
Keisha's mom called me
Okay.
in 2006 and said, Carol, you want to be a Delta? Yeah, I guess so. I don't have anything else to do. And then my girlfriend Terry asked me, you want to be a Delta?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I guess I don't have anything to do. So that's when I went for the interview and had no idea what I was stepping foot into. No idea at all.
I know, right? I know, and now you're stuck with us for life. That's how Pardo just said up there. Ooh, ooh.
And I was actually
Lifetime
applying for
commitment.
a lifetime job.
Yes, you are so stuck. God didn't tell you, did he? Them 22 founders in 1913 at Howard University. They said, "Hey, Carol, you are going to be having Adrian Mays flash in your life for the rest of your life. You didn't even know it was even in your plan." But that's so funny because it sounds like my Murray State University story when freshman year. I come from a legacy. My mother was a Delta. All my family. So I'm getting to college like, yes, I'm gonna be a Delta. Freshman year, they're walking around, they're Delta, sophomore year. I'm like, where'd they go? Where did they go? Then junior year, senior year, and then I even stayed for grad school. And they tickled my fancy with the idea and then didn't even come back. So my Aunt Jewel tried to get them to help, come back with them. So that's how I got to be 60 because I wasn't supposed to be there. That was not my time.
I
So like
understand.
Nicole said, it's a lifetime commitment, Carol. We are stuck like Chuck. But the great thing is I wouldn't trade it for the world because I have the best fans and I have people like you that show up for me and just love. And that's what it's all about in sisterhood. And so I literally you see how we just go all off. I, that we
I know
and
you
we
had a planned script, didn't you?
we did and we didn't kind of thing because that's why I like to give people structure, but I don't at the same time because I like it to be just raw and authentic. And I haven't had the opportunity to connect with you just even over this last few years, just being stuck with this digital marketing journey and my great decisions of life. That's a whole nother it's a whole nother hour. But I wonder how did it feel though when you because I know that you saw Unica at the retirement and all the sand showed up and when you retired at your event, I think how did that feel for everybody for the spotlight to turn on you to and hear how people because it was that was one I can say in this when I've been inside its last 3 years. That's one event that I hate that I missed was being there to be able to applaud you. That's why I was so excited when you said yes, because now you're stuck. I was like, I can at least tell her how much I love her because you have
No,
made
that
such an
was
impact. How does that feel?
At the party, I saw how my life has intertwined with so many people.
Mm,
I was truly blessed by the fact of those who showed up,
yes.
and those who showed up with a positive vibe that I could not even imagine.
Right.
Only wanted to have a party because, like I said, I have 7 grandchildren, and I don't know
Mhm.
when we're all getting a picture together again because they're spread out over the United States. But that
Right.
was one time they came, we got the picture, we had fun. I had different people from all points in my life there, and it was just a glorious time. It really was.
That's
And the
and that
fact that my son and my daughter paid for it even made it better.
didn't even have to go in your pocket. That makes it feel even better. What do you do, like, in regards to just all these different chapters of your life, Stans, that you have been through? How do you have your mindset play into a factor of just to keep going and being resilient in the person and the woman that you are?
You know, I've learned, and this may sound very, very dark at times, but the pastor spoke on it this morning.
Mhm.
When the Israelites got to the promised land, they couldn't see the land for the giants that were on the land.
Mm.
Because whenever you meet your destiny,
Yes.
you can bet there's going to be a giant that shows up. But you've got to stand taller than the giant
Mm.
and know that you can overcome the giant. And I thought that was so clear in the fact that just because you reach a pinnacle doesn't mean that you can sit back and nothing else is going to happen to you.
Mm.
Something else is always, I don't want to say lurking around the corner, but God always has a challenge for you. And when he brings you through that challenge, you'll be so much better on the other side.
Mm, I love it. I look at it like the setback is a setup for what God has in store because He wants
That's
to make sure
very
you have
true.
faith and believe in the process that He has for you. Our design is that's why I love our line name, 60 by design. His design is God's footprint is already on it. We don't even know what it looks like, but if we just have faith and keep going, that strength, that perseverance and showing who we are, and then together, collectively as a unit, how important is communities? Like, seriously, like, I'm just thinking, like, on your story, getting up at 5:30 in the morning and helping your great-grandson, just how important is it for family and support and community in regards to just getting together? Like you said, it's a village to be the best version of yourself. How important is that?
That's extremely important. In fact, that was what I relearned
Mm,
in Switzerland.
okay.
And I know your mother can tell you
Yes.
the stores didn't used to be open on Sundays.
Mm.
In Switzerland, stores close at like 6 or 7 on Saturday, and they don't open up till Monday morning.
Oh,
So on
wow.
Sunday, all you can do is spend time with your family.
Mm.
Restaurants are open, but not that many of them are open on Sundays because they really want you to be with your family.
Interesting.
They tried to point everything towards the people in your small village or the
Mhm.
people that you spend that are part of your family. So you're not running around trying to get into Saks or Nordstrom's rack because they got a sale going on because
Right.
nobody cares.
Right. Right. That's the
Because the
beautiful
people
thing.
that they want you to spend time with are right there with you, either
Mm.
in your house or coming to your house or doing something with your house. So it's like it was a refocus
Mm.
on what is really important again.
It's so crazy that you just say that in regards to these material items. You know, we played against about the Chanel's and the Louis and all those different things, but all of that stuff is a blur. When even money, money comes and goes, but when you have those lasting relationships and showing who your authentic self and being that person that you could depend on, that's how you're able to have these conversations of having that village and things that you've done, Stans, and that's the honest truth. All that's one thing I've learned. Like, I mean, I like to look good now, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's not the end of anything. How you present yourself. I like the inside of myself to be amazing because when I show up for my God, I want him to be ready, like, Adrian, you did well. So, and that's the whole new goal. And so the key thing too, like, people see you now after Switzerland, after retirement, after enjoying so many different things, even your health struggles, right? But they don't see the struggle that you've been through. What do you want people to understand about the quiet behind the scenes time, those sacrifices that you've made to become this beautiful woman that's standing or sitting virtually with me right now?
That you can always learn something new.
Mm,
I went to see, and I didn't even remember who he was,
mhm.
Robert F. Smith,
Okay.
the gentleman who gave, when he did the commencement speech at Morehouse, told all of the graduates that I'm taking all of your debt off of you. You have no more money. You have no more debt to owe. You have no more loans to pay. You have nothing else to do. We
Yes,
went
sir.
and listened to
Mm,
him.
mhm.
And what he said was, we can all do that if we just care about each other.
Ah,
If we just provide more care and more concern for each other. He said, yeah, I did it for 83 or 183 kids, but you can do it for one. And I'm learning there's always more to learn. There's always more to learn, and there's always more to do.
and you know, when people say that too, they this is day 471 of the billionaire journey for myself. And people ask, like, I'm thinking with no children, Adrian, why billionaire? Why are you even thinking about billionaire? Things like Robert F. Smith, like in regards to the impact that you can make with my foundation, CCC Because We Care Foundation, even with Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, all these, I think God set me all the way up for that and then put me at the far reached goal of a billionaire. So and then I can go back to I didn't even graduate from an HBCU, but the thing is, like people in education, those that are taking effort towards their why, I want to be that person that can be able to help them if God gives me the tools and resources to do so. It's not even about the I know now, even though I wanna do that too now. I wanna do both. Imma have a chef, I'm gonna have the yachts, Imma have all of that too now. I'm not gonna act like that's not the part of the life. Because when Chris Voss showed me what it looks like, he did me wrong. I know what it looks like. So that's why I work so hard. It's ingrained. But seriously, the Robert F. Smith stories, like the Morehouse College and paying off debt, sometimes people don't understand just that reboot, that
Mhm.
reset. That's what's needed in order to keep people going sometimes. And I know that God has a plan and angels in your life to be able to help you with that. So tell me, Sans, what role did faith, legacy, sisterhood in our sorority, and even family play a part in the journey that when it got tough or even lonely for you?
You can't do anything without someone else.
Mm,
No matter how bad things get,
yes.
if you can find one person to talk to, and I'm not saying you to be talked off the ledge, I'm just saying you just
Mhm.
have to find someone to talk to.
Yes.
And that person has to be non-judgmental. You don't need somebody to say, "Oh, you don't need to do that. It's not good." No, just listen. Just
Right.
listen. Because while you're listening, I'm hearing myself.
Right.
And if it sounds crazy to you, it probably sounds crazy to me too. I might not say it sounds crazy to me while you listening, but when I get off the phone, I'm gonna say, "Oh, I must have really been crazy saying that stuff. What made me think that?"
I laugh because that's what Enika Gaines is for me. Because I say some things, I do some, I know I go fast. I know, but she humbles. God knew, God knew what to do. I promise He did. Because I'm telling you, Federal Reserve and being right in my corner with this life I have says I can't even. That's why I have to laugh. You don't even understand because it's crazy that I was the treasurer of my high school when graduating, and now my business partner being a part of taxes. Come on, that is just ridiculous. So,
But
Carol,
I
what?
mean, but how many years did we I went, to be truthful, I went 4 years without even paying my taxes, without filing taxes,
Don't
because
tell
I
the
was so
IRS that. Don't
afraid
tell
I
the man.
owed
You know this is
something.
live, right, Sans? You know
Oh, it's
this.
okay, because I made up for it. 4 years without filing my taxes because I was afraid that I was gonna have to pay some taxes.
Mm,
Finally got up enough nerve to go in there and do it,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and found out they owed me money
Ah,
every year because I was too poor to be paying taxes. But
right.
I didn't know that because the world tells you, oh, I still get emails now. Pay off your IRS debt. My IRS debt? They've been owing me all my life. Why should I pay them? There's
This,
no debt to pay.
the funny thing is people don't even know the story that how we even got close. So I was getting audited with taxes when I was working with Chris. I was in from Toronto and Detroit, and her and her husband were doing taxes, of course. And I'm getting audited. I'm scared out of my life. They $30,000 in regards to audit. And my tax preparer at the time did not tell me that I needed to pay taxes. Like my mother had been going to him for years. So I just went too. So they were just balancing me out to zero. This man was lying about my finances on taxes. And I didn't even know though. It's that part. And that the education of not knowing how taxes work, that's why I'm so passionate about financial education. I mean, because again, I know my strength. But if I go to my tax preparer and you don't have confidence in what they're doing, that I had so much confidence in the man, I didn't think twice about it until I got audited. Then I had to go and out the $30,000 I had to pay back, and it was just like, what did I do to deserve this? And so that those turned. She educated me. She made it, kept it simple, and that's when it just literally started. I kept to the money. I stuck close. I said, I was like, please keep educating me on how this stuff works. And she's been doing it now for over 30 years. So it's just how God designed the whole thing, and I'm just thankful for him. So now, if
But
you
you have
hadn't,
to do that not only
yeah,
with your tax person, with your
yes,
physician. You got to call him out because he doesn't know everything either. You've got to do that even with your pastor sometimes,
right,
because there are, I don't know how many thousands of people that have written commentaries on the Bible. So
hmm,
what makes me think that what my pastor say is going to be what everybody else has to believe? I need to
yes,
question that as well. I
yes,
need to be woke
right,
to do that
right,
and
and
in my right
yeah.
mind.
The thing too, I don't know if I literally maybe I've been doing this too for almost 2 months now. I've been reading the Bible 30 minutes a day. I'm on the book of Psalms now, but
Okay.
in doing that 30 minutes of reading, it's such a blueprint of what life looks like. And just feeding myself this education. You know how we go to church, you get the scriptures, but I've never tackled the challenge of reading the Bible from front to back. So God put that in my hand. I read all these other books. God said, why not read my book? So I've been doing that, and like I said, I'm on the book of Psalms. But when I got to the book of Job, and it showed like the reason God puts you through things, the ups and downs, and how He wants to prepare you for His plan. Like it's given me so much strength in regards to just life in general. Because, like you said, when you go to church, it's the building, it's the people, and people are
Mhm.
people, right? We have ups and downs, but God, He has a plan. And if you trust and believe in that, that's what doing for me just reading this book. I don't have to be a preacher. I just have to trust God. That's it. So I've taken over an hour of your time here, and I'm going to just go ahead and give us a top eight. And I just want to literally let you get back to your day or evening. But since I do want to say thank you because you truly have made this just inspiring and just a great discussion, and just inspire people that may even have a diabetic journey to give them some tips and feedback on what things that they can do. But let's go into the fun part really quick in regards to if you could be any superhero character, and my superhero character is Flash, and Angela probably don't have to go, so she definitely says love you and take care. But if you could be any superhero character, what would that character be and why?
Oh, I want to be Storm because it's Halle Berry and she looks so good as that.
Somebody's Flash. You said Storm.
But I think it's always so nice to know that storms can be contained.
Mm,
I was watching all the series have something on Katrina right now.
mhm,
And I
mhm.
wonder why it took them 20 years to tell the truth about Katrina one way or the other, which tells me there's something more to be said about it.
You talking about
But
Hurricane Katrina?
uh-huh. I
Okay.
think
Uh-huh.
that if we can just weather the storm,
Hmm.
many of them said they would wait it out, that this was not going to be a big deal. And I'm saying that that may be true for that one, but we
Mhm.
never know what pitfalls are in the midst of it.
Huh. I love it. I love it. And thank you, Sans, for Nicole Pardo said, I mean, Nicole, Nicole said, great conversation. Thank you so much, Nicole. We truly appreciate you too, seriously. But you just opened my eyes to something here in regards to Hurricane Katrina. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that it was a controversy in regards to it, but there's storms that are always going to come, and
Yeah.
that was one of those things too that just like COVID, right? When literally this whole massive storm took out a whole part of the United States, and everybody had to go and regroup and figure it out. And that's huge. Okay, I'll give you storm. I like that Sans. I love it. Okay, so now in regards to one fruit or not fruit, excuse me, one food. If you can eat any food, mine used to be watermelon, but I am concerned with my choice in regards to
No,
the
no,
sugar
don't
level.
be. Just get the one with the seeds in it because that's not genetically modified. You
Right,
want the
right.
big black seeds in yours, like
Yes,
you
I
used
have
to
the
get
black
when you
seeds
was
in
a
mine.
kid.
Yep, I eat that one. I do. I spit
Okay,
the seeds out.
okay, you're
Yep.
good. You're good.
Okay. Okay. So what food would yours be in regards to just you can eat it all day, any day?
I don't know. It's so many, but I try the things I keep in my house all the time
Mhm.
are
Mhm.
blueberries, mushrooms, and onions. And I
Okay.
don't like onions, but
Huh.
they make other things taste so much better that you don't want to season without your onions in there.
Okay. I like it. I like it. And so share with me, where are you from and where is home now? I'm from Detroit, Michigan. What up though? So where are you from as well? And where
I was
where are you now?
actually born in Detroit,
Okay. Okay.
but I spent my first 6 years in Royal Oak Township.
Okay.
Then we moved right across the street because I was on Mitchelldale, and we
Uh-huh.
moved right across the street to Green Line.
Okay.
And I spent the rest of my time on Green Line. And I've only moved a total of maybe a mile in my life because now I'm on Monica
Mhm.
and 7 miles. So I haven't moved that much, but I do like to see other places. So
Okay.
I will tell you that God blessed us twofold
Mm.
because when we decided to go to Dubai for Christmas and New Year's,
Mhm.
and then we went to Thailand for
Oh,
the week after New Year's.
okay.
And if you can time it out, COVID hit the week we got back from Thailand.
Oh my gosh. That is amazing. I haven't been oh my gosh, that's awesome. So you were able to get the full experience before this whole
Right,
melee
exactly.
happened.
Mhm.
So that is, I mean, seriously, those are two places I haven't been. So which leads to my next question. What is the most, favorite place you've traveled and why? The best place. Now you've been so many too, Stans. I know you're a traveler as well.
Yeah, it depends on what you're looking for.
Okay.
If I'm
Okay.
looking for Black people,
Uh-huh.
I want to go to the Virgin Islands.
Okay.
Although Egypt was the bomb, but
Okay.
they don't consider them Black like me. But, it was very nice in Egypt
Uh,
before they started bombing everything around there.
okay.
Because I
Okay.
went in 2005.
Okay.
Um, I
I haven't
thought
been after yet.
Japan was marvelous,
Uh-huh.
but you got to remember that Japan is very homogeneous and everybody there looks Japanese.
Yes, they
So
do.
you stand out. And then I guess I still like Hawaii
Mm,
because the water in Hawaii and it's just so peaceful and all of those things. Even though we went out to see the volcano,
mm.
um, I still like it. I still like it.
That's
But
awesome.
I think I can be happy anywhere where
Uh-huh.
you can find some solitude and some peace.
I love it. Do you have like an island that you enjoy, or was the Virgin Islands when you went
The
there?
Virgin Islands, St. John,
Okay. Okay.
it's very rural, it's very primitive.
Mm-hmm.
Most people go to St. Thomas and never get to St. John.
See, I didn't go to St. John. I went to St. Thomas, so you're right.
Okay. St. John, you have to have a four-wheel drive car usually because
Huh.
of all the hills and bumps and holes in the road.
Okay.
But I have a girlfriend that moved down there. She's been down there now 50. How long has Martin Luther King been dead? 54 years.
See, 1968. So what's this? Just
She
a
went down right after they assassinated him.
doing math.
She
Okay.
said she didn't want to stay in the United States anymore.
You just challenged me with those 57 years. I just did. I love when I can do that in my head.
Okay, okay. She went down there and she got a job as a teacher
Uh-huh.
and she never came back.
Oh my gosh. That's what I'm talking about. I love traveling and I've been a lot of places as well. But when Chris Bosh was in Toronto, my cousin, they had different cultures. And even
Mhm.
though I didn't like the weather, now I'm off, but they had like the different little Italy, little, Spanish town, and the people were so nice. Now, I don't know if they had any idea, because Chris was who he was playing professional basketball or not, but anywhere I went, Jamaican town, you were able to get just love and people taught you about the culture. That's where I had the first my first sushi, and learned about
Okay.
Japanese culture. And so just T dot it is still hands down is one of the best places I've ever been. Seriously, Toronto. So my next question for you says, in regards to a day or a time of the year or even a holiday season that stands out for you, is do you have a favorite date? Or in mine now is my sobriety journey date, which is November 20th, 2023, as the
Okay.
day as and it's also the day my cousin's birthday that passed away, Jabari Wesson. So he passed on Yanika's birthday, which is May 27th, and
Mm,
his birth and my sobriety, and I didn't even know that the sobriety. So I didn't do it on purpose. That's how you know God. I'm like, hey, this is going to be my cousin's birthday, and I'm a sobriety date. It all it all happened like in 2023 by God's design. He passed that year in May 27th, and my sobriety journey started on his birthday, which is November 20th, and he passed way too soon for lupus. So I'm so
okay.
excited now because, again, life. I'm always able to wake up and whatever God has designed, I don't care what I'm going through, I'm here, and I'm here to help someone else. So, do you have a day like that that's so impactful for you, or even time, or it used to
I
be
just like doing for people.
yes,
So
hmm
Christmas is when everybody does for people.
yes,
But I love going back to school. I wish they stopped moving the dates because I really think that used to be my new year.
okay,
Going
okay,
to school was my new year
okay,
because you get new clothes for Christmas, but nobody
mm,
cares. But
right,
when you get new clothes for school, everybody cares about your new clothes for school.
right, right.
It's like to me, that's like the new year.
Mm.
It's always been my new year.
So how
So
do you feel about uniforms though, right? So you have uniforms, you just got to get the khakis and the shoes, and so how do you feel about that? Uh-oh.
I like uniforms, but you got to remember the kids. Well, when Marco went to Liggett,
Uh-huh.
they had 4 uniforms.
Okay.
So it still cost me a bunch to get uniforms from Liggett.
Okay.
Um, Uniforms have their purpose because
Mhm.
they allow you to spend more time on other things. And
Right.
one thing I will tell you, I noticed when I was teaching, those kids who went to Catholic school, because then those weren't people wearing uniforms back then,
Mhm.
they learned different ways to stand out without it being the clothes they wore
Mm.
in their writing, in the way they might have worn. Some of them might have wore pearls every day, but they
Yes.
found something to make themselves stand out,
Okay.
even with the uniform on. But they
Mhm.
found different ways. You could tell their writing style was more succinct and distinct
Mhm.
because of the fact that they had to find a way to be different.
Okay. Okay.
But the uniform thing, I think, is overplayed here
Okay.
because even though the schools have uniforms, they don't make anybody, the shirts aren't pressed, the skirts aren't pressed, they're not always clean. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying that they can't afford it. I'm saying it's not taught that you need to be spick and span.
You know what's crazy though, and it's crazy to hear you have that perspective. When I went last week to Jalen Rose Leadership Academy, and the parents, I mean the teacher at the front, it was the student that came up with the teacher or with their child or what have you, didn't have his jacket. So first day of school, didn't have his jacket. They said you can't come today, and I thought that was so mean, right? But then went around the corner, and it was a young lady that had on the skirt. They said no, you can't come here today. Like you can't. In other words, like you said, you have to come represent yourself in a certain way and show up the way that you're supposed to, or you can't come today. And they said we have a waiting list. So if you can't get to the rules, I mean, but so a flip of that is, okay, I thought it was harsh, but now I kind of see it from a different perspective because, like you said, if you're not coming to with the checklist that we have provided for you, then you're not being prepared for what needs to be done. Oh, come on, with the mind shift. Okay, I take it back, Jalen. I was talking stuff. I was okay. I was talking. I'll tell
So
my mother. I said that was so not nice. He just forgot his jacket. But no, if you don't have your jacket, like you said, if his shirt one little boy's shirt wasn't ready, they said no, no, you can't come in here. But that's the good way because again, if you show up to a job interview with a t-shirt on and some flip flops, that's not how you're supposed to present yourself. You're supposed to present yourself in a certain way, and
at least
that's
we
what
hope you don't present yourself that way.
and that's the key thing too, because some people do. You're right. So no judgment, no judgment zone. So my last two questions for you, beautiful, is the one if you could tap yours, or even before I ask that one. So if you can describe one word, your brand, what you represent. My word is resilient because I'm gonna get through it. Like, my might go a little crazy through the process, but I am going to get through it because that's how God has made me to be. If you had one word, Stance, that would actually represent who you are, your brand, what would that one word be and why?
It's two words.
Okay.
Next level.
Ooh, the next level. Why next level, Stance? Why next
Because
level?
you always want to improve on what you're doing.
Mm,
You don't want anything to be the same.
that's right.
And I talked to someone today because they were admiring the blue jean jacket I had on.
Okay.
And I said, yeah, the lady down at Eastern Market, she makes them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I said, but she's a heck of a stylist. And I
Okay.
said, I would like to just simply take her. Um, I would like to have her come to my closet some days and let's just put some outfits together
Okay.
because she can finish them.
Okay.
And she said, I said, I don't care about, I do appreciate that you think I look nice, but
Mm-hmm.
I want to take it one step above. And this lady can do that.
I love it. It stands in Crip, you gotta tell me what you mean when it said and it starts early. So I'm sorry, I call Nicole Franklin Crip because you know she was when she was on I'll tell the world why. It's not Bloods and Crips. We're not gang banging. We I call her Crip because when she was online with us, she was in crutches.
She
And
had a boot. Yep.
so and so even to say her real name, it sounds funny to me because I'm like Nicole Franklin. Um, but the funny thing is, I like that. So tell me your one word, your two words, one word again. Oh, she was talking about the uniforms. Okay,
Next
right.
level. And
Next
the
level.
uniforms, it starts early. It does start early.
It does. It
But if
does.
you think about it, and like I said, you're younger than I am. Sears and Roebuck's was the place when I was, that's where
Me
you went to get
too. Thank you very
your
much.
school clothes at.
That's where I got my first bra and everything. Sears Roebuck. Yes.
And
I
I
know.
remember Ernest Campbell told me that I told him something I couldn't do because my mother
Mm-hmm.
said we were poor.
Mm.
And he said to me, you wear the same clothes that my sister wears.
Uh.
I really didn't, but they
Right.
looked the same
They
because
look the
back
same.
then everybody was in a dress, and you started
Mm-hmm.
dressed with the one in the little plaid, the blue and green plaid dress, or the red, and you had a dress on.
Yes.
And as far as he was concerned, I looked just like his sisters, and they were rich.
Right.
So
Right.
what your mama talking about you poor?
Right. So my last question for you says, and I'm gonna let you get back to your day. If you could go back and touch younger Carol on the shoulder and give her some type of advice in regards to all of the experiences and the different strengths and hopes that you've had, what advice would you give young Carol to be able to prepare her for the journey of this thing called life?
Never let fear stop what you're going to do.
Mm. Oh, you just want to mic drop it on a never never let fear stop what you're gonna do.
I know love is powerful, but fear
Mm,
will make you kill yourself when you didn't even intend to kill yourself.
that's right.
So I just think that we downplay fear, but we need to approach it firsthand and just step into the room and do what you got to do. Because if fear stops you, you're in trouble.
So, but how like I have my own little mantras I say, I have my own rituals, I have my, my I have God right now, training camp of my soul is what I say. But for you, Sans, how do you get through that fear? How do we tell people how to tackle fear? Because it's a real thing. It's
Acknowledge it first.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Oftentimes we don't acknowledge it.
right.
And then know that what's in you is greater than what you see outside of you.
Mm,
And that's something that you often don't learn,
yes.
but you need to, because those people that you see that are making it in this world, whether they're thinking about it or not, they've overcome the fear or whatever's in their way because they know that there's something greater where they have to go to.
I gotta ask you this question because I'm interested to know for myself, and I skipped over it. Is there a book or a movie that for mindset that helps you get through and encourages you in your journey? And I do you have any books in mind? Mine for me is Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad series, because financial education wasn't taught in the schools. And if I knew the power of leverage of relationships, and it's not about the dollar amounts in your bank account, it's about just even giving someone a smile. You don't have to have a I don't have to call you all the time or anything. Even with this, Stance, it wasn't like we talk every day or anything like that, but we signed up for a sisterhood that's a lifetime commitment. And
Mhm.
you knew that I was doing something passionate for my birthday, and you just no doubt, no hesitation, just said yes. And I those little small things I appreciate. But in regards to like a book or mindset, do you have something that stands out for you?
There's no book. Um,
Okay.
I was raised by a woman who was a hairdresser,
Okay.
and sometimes the hair salon was in my basement.
Mm, my grandmother too.
And
Yeah.
if you went downstairs and just sat and listened, but then I would hear things that she was saying,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought what she was saying was really the truth.
Right.
And I didn't understand she was walking a balancing rope.
Hmm.
She wanted them to come back and get their hair done again. So she wasn't going to disagree with them.
Right.
She was going to listen and say, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Right.
mm-hmm.
Right.
So I approached her with something one day and I said, but you said this. And she said, always understand when I am talking to them, I am talking to them. I'm not
Mm,
talking to you.
right.
So if you want to know something, you ask me and I will give you the lowdown.
Ah,
But no, it's not about what I tell them. It's about what I'm going to tell you.
but every message is not for that. That literally is what I hear when you say that. Every just because you hear something, because I used to be caught up on authenticity of what I say, and then people come back and say, "You lying, Adrian? You said that." Did you listen to the whole story? So in other words, you may not have known what I was talking about, but you make conclusions, and that's what people us as people do. So I say all that, and this is a good way for us to actually wrap it up, saying, give people grace and
Mhm.
listen and ask people the question before you just jump to conclusions in regards to your end result, because you never know what the conversation is. You don't know the backstory.
Well,
And
even if you do think you know what the conversation, we had a story in Bible study last week, and we were
mhm,
talking about the fact that mothers were on TV that morning with Tamron Hall telling them how much they sacrificed for their children.
yes,
And I always used to tell Marco, I said, I don't want to sacrifice if I really want a fur coat,
mm,
my getting a fur coat because I'm sending you somewhere that you want to go.
right,
And she turned around and said, but I might not have asked you to do that. Oftentimes we want things for our kids that we want it for ourselves. We didn't ask them if they wanted it.
right,
Now, I'm sure she's glad I made the sacrifices I made for her, but she was very honest in the fact that it's going to get done one way or the other. She could see that way back then. She could see that she was going to succeed way back then and that I would do all that's in my power to do it. And it wasn't always money or it always wasn't this stuff. I mean, when I think about the fact there are times when I drove from Plymouth, Michigan, Sheldon Road and M14
right.
all the way to Grosse Pointe to pick
Mm-hmm.
her up and then take her to Southfield Lathrop for cheer practice. That's 100 miles on my car. And all I've done was deliver kids. I haven't done anything with it.
Right. But did you, when you were doing those things, because that comes up a lot just in the journey in itself, when people reach certain levels, were you doing those things so that you can come back later and say, you remember I drove 100, or did you do those out the kindness of your heart because you just wanted to build this person? Do you feel like they owe you something? Is my question, I
No,
guess.
no, she
Right.
doesn't owe me anything. And in
Right.
fact, I used to laugh because people that knew me back then knew I had two Toyota Celicas.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
One was yellow and one was orange. One had a strap across the hood holding it down. The other one had something else wrong with it.
Right.
But when I pulled up to Cook Road, they could see me coming from the front door, and they'd
Mm,
say, "Marco, your mom's coming." And I said, raggedy car or not, this is how we do it.
right. That's
One
right.
time, one time, I called myself flirting with a young man, and he said, "Okay." I said, "Well, I'll take you home. I'll take
Uh-huh.
you over there wherever he was going." And I didn't tell him he had to crawl across the driver's side of my seat to get to the
hmm
passenger seat because the door on the passenger side didn't open. Either he wanted a ride or he didn't.
Right. That's it. You gonna get in this car or you gonna walk. That's literally those are your options. And Nicole
But
put in grace and don't
the
assume.
main thing is
Yeah.
I had the car. He had
hmm
to get around there. He could say no and walk around. I would still
Period.
beat him.
Yeah. I have truly said to this afternoon, evening, whatever you want to call it. I truly have enjoyed you in this live virtual conversation for doing this for my birthday. I when God put this on my heart to do, it was funny because I was helping someone trying to help out with their book sales. This digital marketing journey and just having these different strengths. So I said, oh, I can maybe do something different. But this has been the best idea I've come up with yet. Like I keep coming up with and I didn't come up with it. It was God's plan. I trust and believe it. Seriously. So us connecting here today, I feel so excited about just every day waking up. It's a new adventure for me. And I didn't know this conversation was going to go the way it was because I know we helped somebody today. We had our Pardo, we had Crip on, we Nicole, excuse me. And and we had you here too that was able to be authentic and real with your story. And so I wanted to give you the opportunity before we actually disconnected here. Is there anything that you want to say, speak to someone that's fighting diabetes or fighting the game called life that you want to kind of help them to keep going within their journey?
No, I'm just going to tell you, like, I think you're one fantastic person. And those of us who wake up and can be fantastic, we know that yesterday was yesterday. There's nothing we can do about it. No matter how much we apologize for whatever we thought we did wrong, we can't undo it. So let's just move on to today and tomorrow.
And that's the only thing I could try to control is today. I don't even try to control. I have gotten so much better, Sands. You will really love me. I can't do anything about yesterday. Right. Every day I tackle to be the best version of myself. And tomorrow I'm going to let the God handle that because as long as he wakes me up, I'm going to give him the same effort and activity every single day. And so even like today, like even, kind of starting a little late, but the old Adrian, I would have been in a frenzy. Oh my God, the new Adrian? I'm just sitting here. I notice it myself. I see the transformation. So that's why I trust God wholeheartedly. And those who are for me will be for me. Those who will not, that was their choice. And I'm okay with that. And loving yourself. And if I've learned anything over this sobriety journey and everything else that I'm doing or dealing with or what have you, if I've learned anything that loving yourself, that God designed me perfectly imperfect, the way that I am. And I have to understand that this is the way God designed. That's not my I did not put this on my to-do list. So loving myself.
But you've got to
Yeah.
become comfortable with that. And sometimes you just have to sit back in the middle of the day and say, am I doing what I want to do? And if you can say yes, then keep on doing it. If you can say no, then change and do something different. But you
I
have that choice.
I don't even think it's that anymore because I didn't choose this. I didn't choose this. I did not choose this. This is in design order, but I did choose to trust my God. I did choose to give the best version and smile through it all. And I'm gonna continue to be the best version because I might empower somebody to be a model and innovate to prosper to be the best version of themselves as well. If I help one person a day, I've done my job. And I help myself every day by looking in the mirror and saying, I love you. So, and I want to say the same thing to you as we wrap up. I love you. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with me today and taking a few moments to kind of give some people some experiences and different strengths and hopes to help them get through their moments as well. And
Okay.
I am going to actually, and thank you all. Nicole said, happy early birthday. And she said, it's a process that we must trust the process. And that's what we all do if you have God in your life, one day
And
at a
she's
time.
trusting the process right now because Tuesday's going to be a big day for her. Yay, Nicole.
Yay, come on Tuesday. It's September 2nd. We're claiming it. That's what we
Hmm.
do. And
Hmm.
that's in all prayers work. And we're giving you both of them. Yes. So she said it's part of the process. Got you. so so Carol, hold on for me. Let me wrap up for me. I want you to do your
Okay.
testimonial because I know if I let you go, I probably won't get you. So you just hold on 1 second
Okay.
and I get your testimonial from you. Let me wrap up real quick. Oh my gosh! 71 and unstoppable. How Carol Nevels-Fleming reversed diabetes, and refined her legacy and being a part of the process. Even our sins, Angela Pardo and Nicole Franklin, my crib, showing up and showing support here today. I truly appreciate God in the design. Like, I couldn't have made it because you're being so much in your head and literally just knowing that I didn't have the plan of being here, but I'm here. And I'm so thankful that Carol was able to share with us the beautiful pictures of Switzerland. They're so in my head in regards to Geneva and traveling now to Dubai and even thinking about just the whole process, this is how you travel, not only in your mindset, it starts there, but living life. Carol has lived a full life, and being 71, being my beautiful line sister on 60 by Design, it was truly God's design because I'm able here, August 31st, 2025, day 471 of my billionaire journey. That I know that day when I had that Robert F. Smith moment, when I get that to that billionaire status, and Anika and I are standing with our foundation, helping people and giving that, just giving back, wiping out debt, just helping people and impacting. That's what money is made for. All this other stuff, well, I'm gonna do that too now. Don't get. I keep saying it now because I'm clear. Now I'm gonna help people, but I'm also gonna live. I'm gonna get the island. I'm gonna be able to show people how to, what you're supposed to do is to live. And living it, you have to do the work. You got to do God's design. But I did enjoy hearing about the housekeeper and the chef and the 4 stories in Switzerland. So I can't lie to you. It helps to my vision. These are, I think God does did this for me. But everybody that showed up is in support, and even in the after process. In my crib, oh, it's showing love. And Crib doesn't even know I have a special place in my heart for her because she's always had my back through it all, through prayers. Oh, I hear about it. And I believe that God does everything in his true design. So thank you again, Carol Nevel-Fleming, for showing up for the 46 random acts of kindness for my birthday, leading up to September 6th, and being a part of that journey. And you will be able to find out the replay of for this actual. I'm gonna put the link here for you as well, because again, everybody that says yes to the journey, everybody that just literally is being a part of this amazing day, sharing their authentic story, and literally growing and building in the branding, because that's what the brand is. I'm gonna be like Oprah. I told you nigga the other day, I'm gonna have my own 4 o'clock virtual show, and then we're gonna see what happens along the way. So if Oprah want to come tax me on the church, come on, Oprah, Harpo, I'm here. Tyler Perry, right in front of you. Let's go. I'm here for you. But in all seriousness, thank you so much for your time this afternoon and evening. Thank you for being a part of my 46 random acts of kindness for my birthday, these live virtual conversations, because I'm live every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But doing this is the one off leading up to September 6th, 2025. So, you know how I end my lives. I can, I will, I shall be victorious. What up, though, Detroit? Deuces. I love you, Carol. Thank you so much for sharing your story with me, my love. Thank you.